Hi, I'm Mazzy Mayhem, and welcome to Pretty and Dangerous. This is my little corner of the internet for misfit girls, gays, theys, and anyone in between who love to gossip about fictional characters, rant about society, and who have a love-hate relationship with romance, or maybe just love to hate in general. I don't feel like I had a normal childhood growing up, so I didn't really get to experience childhood, teenage, girlhood things, and now I'm trying to make up for it. Maybe some of you can relate, or maybe you just want to relive your own childhoods. Either way, this is our place where we can do whatever we want. So, put on a face mask, get cozy, and let's dive into the drama. Okay, so before we actually dive into our topic today, which is going to be a fun topic, there's lots of loving to hate in this episode, to be honest, and there's also a monster again. Which is going to be a common theme on this here channel, on this here podcast. And you're going to have to get used to it, okay? Because human men just don't really cut it anymore. Anyway, I'm sure by now we've established that I like to do a little housekeeping before we get into the topic. So we're going to do that today. The housekeeping today is, I actually can't believe when we're in February already. Like, it's February. Kind of scary. It I haven't really fully processed that we're in 2026 yet. It still feels like we're in 2025. To be honest, it never really feels like the year's properly started until about March, April time, and that's when it hits me all at once. So it's like, damn, Christmas is 9 months away. It's nearly Christmas again. Yeah, so like before we know it, we'll be doing Christmas all over again. I keep saying that and I have to stop because it will be Christmas again soon. Where does the time go? So I made you all listen to that. I can't sing. Or can I? I can't. Anyway. But yeah, me and my sister were talking about it the other day and we are both saying how we think there should be a day in between one year and the next year, like a non-day, so we can have a day to process between you. Like, it should be a day after New Year's Eve where nobody goes to work, nothing is open, nobody does anything between December 31st and January 1st. It's a day that has no date. We don't calculate time on this day. This day doesn't officially exist. And we don't have to do anything. Okay? Just so we can process the last year before we jump straight into the new year. Like, it seems a little bit rushed. It seems a bit too much to me. Like, hang on. Just wait a second. Give me time. I'm not ready yet. Give me a minute, okay? Like, it was 2025 yesterday, and you're telling me today is 2026? No. But hold up. Just give me a minute, bro. Damn. Like, why are we rushing? Why are we rushing so fast to jump into the next year? Like, just give me a minute. Damn. Yeah. Anyways, I got that off my chest. How's everybody? How are you guys? You doing good? Are you guys processing the fact that it's 2026 yet? Like, or does it still feel like 2025? Sometimes it still feels like 2022, I'm not gonna lie. And what happened to 2023? I don't know. Don't really know, love. 2024 was crazy. And 2025 was like wild. So who knows what 2026 is gonna bring? Money, hopefully. Money. But yeah. Anyways, let's get into the topic. Okay, so today's topic is we're gonna be talking about a book called Whispers of the Deep. And to be honest, I was really, really excited to read this book. I saw it on TikTok. The TikTok girlies persuaded me to read this book, you know. Um, very excited. I downloaded it. I was like, I'm gonna eat this up. I'm gonna eat it up. It's gonna be so fun. We'll get into it. We'll get into it, I promise. Okay, so what made me want to read this book? First of all, it's a fantasy book about mermaids. Second of all, it's a fantasy book about mermaids. Third of all, it's a fantasy book about a merman who falls in love with a human woman. Are we hearing that correctly? A merman. And he's like 8 foot long or something. Handsome, sexy. Don't come for me, I just call the fish sexy. What does life come to? Anyway, who doesn't love a book about mermaids? Like, I'm sorry, if you put mermaids, fantasy, romance in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. Can you blame a girl for that? I don't think so. I really don't think you can. It's not my fault. It's not my fault that you put 3 very enticing items on my plate in front of me. And you expect me not to buy into it? You expect me not to want to devour it? What are you, crazy? 10? Please. Okay? Not around here. Around here, brother. Here, we like the monster men. That's what we like around here. Okay? Because real men disappoint. Monster men disappoint too, as it turns out, unfortunately. Anyway, we'll talk about that soon. But yeah, usually these kind of books, like when you like my other fantasy books about mermaids, it's usually a human boy and a mermaid girl. And I love me loves. Can I stop doing that, please? Me loves, but the idea of a merman, like especially like this type of merman, like he's not like overly pretty. He looks like a deep sea creature. Okay, like he's got all his skills and stuff, and it's a spicy book as well. So like, it's some of the things that goes on kind of weird. Not gonna lie, some of the things that goes on kind of weird. Like he has these gills on his neck. There's some sort of erogenous zone, and touching them, it's almost like touching flaps. You know, it turns him on. I'm just gonna say that now. But yeah, so the fact that it was a merman this time and not a mermaid, like the roles reversed, kind of intrigued me a little bit, and I thought, why not? Why not? I'm bored. Okay, I usually like to read books like this when I'm in a bit of a reading slump because they're usually quite easy to read. Um, and there's not too much going on. It's not too complicated. You don't really have to learn too much. It's just a bit of an easy read. So, yeah, I just like these kinds of books as like a palate cleanser and a refresher. Especially if I'm haven't read a book in a while, these books get me back into like the spirit of reading. To be honest, so I did have some preconceptions going into before the book, like before reading it. The first one is I feel like this book is gonna be heavy on the spice and romance, with more heavy on the spice. That's just what I got from what I was seeing on TikTok and what I thought the book was about and like the blurb and stuff. Is it just made me feel like it was gonna be very heavy on the spice scenes, and that was gonna be the forefront of the book. Like the bulk of the book was gonna kind of be that, and then plot and like romance was gonna fall to the background. So I did kind of know that going in, or at least I kind of guessed that going into the book. Um, which is all right, but you have to write these scenes well. You still have to be a good writer, in my opinion, if this is what you're gonna do, because these books can be good. They can be good. They can be delicious, even. They can be really, really fun. But you have to be a good writer. Like, you have to be able to captivate my mind with this. Like, come on. I'm an Aquarius, I'm an air sign, it's all about the mind with me. And that's what I want. Okay? You need to be getting up there. Um, so that's one preconception I had about the book. And then another one that I had is to be honest, I'm not too hopeful about the plot. I think the plot was gonna be just like background, if anything. Like it was gonna be very simple plot, probably something we've all seen before and heard before, not too big on the plot, is what I was getting from this book, like the vibe that I was getting. If I hit the microphone one more time, I'm gonna be so annoyed. I just stop moving my hands about so much. Or I just need a better microphone. Please. But yeah. Yeah, I'm just not too hopeful with the plot, which is fine. Like I don't want anything too plot driven, like too much that I have to think about, to be honest. So I'm not really bothered by that all that much. And whatever plot that is going to be is probably just going to be really basic plot. Like I said, nothing very intricate or like outstanding in terms of plot. Right. Okay, let's get into sort of context of this book. Let me explain the book a little bit. Explain what it's about, explain the characters. Okay. So, this character is set where something has happened on Earth. It doesn't explain what's happened on Earth, but Earth has become Earth has become, I don't know what it is, but being able to hear my own voice as I'm talking makes it really hard for me to pronounce words properly, and it's kind of irritating. It's like the weirdest thing ever. I don't know if anybody else like gets that when they can hear themselves speaking, but it's quite jarring, to be honest. Anyway, something has happened on Earth that has made Earth uninhabitable for human beings. So human beings have developed technology to move underwater, and they now live in cities underwater. They don't actually live in the water, but like they live in enclosed cities in the water. They've developed a breathing system, like an air filtration system, so they can breathe they can't breathe underwater, but they keep water out of their cities so they can breathe. Um, and that's where human beings live. And there's a couple of these cities. I think there's Alpha, Gamma, Beta. Those are the cities, different ones. Each city serves a slightly different function. Now, our main character is called Mira, and she works as an underwater technician for the city. So I'm assuming she just helps make sure there's no leakages, helps make sure that all the doors and all the breathing mechanisms and stuff like that, they're all safe and easy to use, and there's no water leaks and nothing can get in or out. That kind of thing. They also help invent new machinery, new technology to be able to go out and explore underwater. Yeah, but since human beings have moved underwater, they've kind of destroyed the ocean with their technology and their pollution and all of that, which nothing surprising about that, really. But yeah, so they've destroyed a lot of the coral life, the ocean life, the underwater life, all of that. Right. So our mermaids are creatures called undines. I think they're undines or undines. I don't know how it's pronounced, but yeah, I pronounce it undines. Um, I got my nose pierced the other day, but it's kind of itching. Also, can you see my cheek piercing? She's cute, isn't she? She's real cute. Yes, she's cute. Anyway, they're called undines, and I also the annoying thing about reading is you don't know how anything is supposed to be pronounced. So forgive my pronunciations for the names if I'm pronouncing them wrong, because the our Undine's name could be pronounced a numerous different ways. So it could be Arges, it could be Argis, it could be Argesh. We don't know. I don't even know what to call him. Um, let's just go with our guess, you know, because it's spelled Arges. Our guess, or is it Argesh? I don't know. I'm scared. Okay, I'm scared. He is an Undyne, and he's like this 8 foot long sea creature. I don't really know what else to call him. He's like a beast underwater. He's supposed to be like fast moving, like scary strong. He's supposed to be like blue in color. Yeah, he's kind of sexy though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, anyway, I think like even the girl when she sees him for the first time, like she's in a glass room so she can see out into the ocean. She's like, he's kind of cute though. Like, why does he look kind of sexy? But when he sees her for the first time, he's thinking like when you hear his POV because it is a dual POV book. He's like, yo, why does she low key look disabled? Like, what are those things? Feet? Ew. She looks kind of weird. Like, that is literally his internal monologue, which we are gonna talk about because what the hell? Sorry? What are you talking about? We have to address that later. Anyway, so the Undines and the humans are basically at war with each other. Although when Mira first talks about seeing Argus, she's like, she acts like she's never seen an Undine before. Like she wasn't sure if they were real or if they were just like myth and legend. So I'm like, so are you at war or not? There are certain like plot holes or gaps in the plot that just don't make sense. Like it's like the author just says stuff and then doesn't really fit it into the story properly. I don't know. Like you say they're at war, or like human beings and Undines have been at war since forever, but then there's no evidence of war with them. Like the human beings aren't aware they're at war with them. Like, what do you mean? What's going on? Anyway, but yeah, I was really excited for this book, like super super excited to read this book. And I don't know if my critiques are too harsh or if I'm being too harsh on the author for what the book is meant to be. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments what you think after maybe you go and read the book, or after you watch this video and you've heard my thoughts and opinions on it. I don't know. Okay? I know that it's a romance book and it's a spice book and the plot is not supposed to be that important. I know that. And the romance genre honestly faces a lot of criticism as it is, but I still feel like we can have romance books and spice books and whatever books that are well written. I still feel like we can have that. Okay? And it's okay to point out when these books are not well written. It's actually okay for me to do because I'm a woman. Okay? If a man was to try and tell me this book was bad, get out. Okay? Anyway, but yeah, I don't know if I'm being too harsh. I am a bit. I think I am a little bit harsh on this book, but these are just my thoughts that I had as I was reading it. Like I just put my thoughts down, and that's what these notes are. It's just the thoughts that I jotted down as I was reading the book. So the frustrations and everything that I felt as I was reading come up in these notes. But yeah, I feel like this book could have could have been better. I expected better. Like I wanted more from this book. I feel like it had so much potential to be a good book, to be a good spice book. And it left some wanting, to be honest. And I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really had a lot of look in the romantasy genre of books recently. So I am looking for a good romantasy book, but it has to meet certain requirements of writing and plot for me to accept it. Like, as a good book for me, like for me to enjoy it. I don't want to read a Wattpad level book that like. I don't want to buy a book, a published book, and it read like a Wattpad book, like, and it or for it to. I could read a better fanfic on AO3. I don't want that. Okay, if I've paid for the book, I expect a certain amount of quality. And that includes when reading and writing spy scenes. Like, bro, I don't want to feel like a 13-year-old could have written this on Wattpad 12 years ago. Please. Like, I need a good romantasy book, and the main female character has to be 25 plus. I'm not reading 18-year-olds. It's weird. Okay? Thanks. Anyway, so these are my rantings and ravings of the book as I'm reading it. Let's get into it. So Mira's a what do you call them? Engineer. She's an engineer. Women in STEM. And she's in one of the underwater cities, and she's working on a leak in one of the rooms that has been closed off from the rest of the city. When all of a sudden she sees one of the Undines out the window, and I think there's a crack in the window, and she's working on trying to fix it. And he decides to use his tail to bash into the crack and break it open. Um, so he does all of that. Water gets in. Um, Something happens, and she has to help him escape. Like, she helps him get out. Um, and then later on, you find out that his people have been planning on attacking the city for ages. Like, they want to destroy the city. They're waging war on the humans. All that, blah 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 blah. However, his people decide that in order to gather information about the human beings in the city properly, he needs to go back. So our guest needs to go back and kidnap Mira and like keep her underwater and like to try and get information out of her. Okay. From Mira's point of view, is Mira has been working on some technology, like an invention that she's trying to get cleared with all the other human beings, that allows her to breathe underwater. I think they call it a rebreather under the book. Like, it's this device that she puts in her mouth, and she can breathe underwater. She also has like some kind of wetsuit that helps her swim underwater. All of that. So, her and a couple of other engineers, they have to leave this underwater city. Like, they have to actually leave the city and go into the water to fix something, and that's when Argus kidnaps her. And yeah, so the whole book is him just keeping her underwater for like, I don't know. It feels like no reason to keep her underwater. He basically keeps her in this soggy cave. And the only thing she has is a rebreather. She has no warm clothes. She spends most of her life, like, I don't know how long he keeps her underwater for, but it's like 6 months. So she spends like 6 months cold, damp, and soggy with no dry clothes, no warm water. She has a swimsuit, wetsuit that doesn't have the chance to dry properly. She doesn't see sunlight for like 6 months. Crazy, like crazy stuff. She has no proper food. Like, he feeds her like fish. That's it. Um, I honestly can't even remember if she's able to cook the fish or she has to eat the fish raw. I don't know. Um, but what I do know is she ends up fighting like this robot from like human generations ago who built the robot, and it's like a translator robot. So it creates these chips that translates one language to another. So eventually, because at the start, Mira and Argus can't understand each other because he's a fish and she's a human being. So they constantly do this arguing back and forth, but neither of them can understand each other. Crazy. Until she does this chip, and then she manages to stick the chip into him so he can understand her. It takes a little bit longer for the robot to develop a chip so she can understand him. And girl, she spends she doesn't tell him when she can finally understand him. So there's a long period of time where he doesn't know that she can understand what he's saying, which was just a weird little twist in there for some reason. I'm not really sure about that. But the whole plan was for him to get information about the humans from her and then for him to kill her, is basically what's supposed to happen. But I'm like, great start for a romance book for him to kidnap her, like, which is just a bit wild to me, like, because this is gonna end well. Obviously, they slowly start to develop feelings for each other. I'm not really sure why, like, like she low-key finds him fit from the beginning, but he thinks she's just weird looking. So, like, to me, there just wasn't really any chemistry. Like, I'm reading the book and I'm like, but why though? Like, why are we even doing this? Like, the whole book, the whole romance of it, it just feels so unnecessary. Like, it feels like, what are we doing? Kind of like, why? Like, he just keeps her underwater for like ages and ages, and he spends so long. Like, eventually some of the other Undines find out that he's keeping a human underwater and they try and kill her, so he spends ages and ages having to like move her about or find a new cave for her to live in, and she's basically dying because she can't get enough vitamins and stuff underwater, but he's supposed to love her. I don't know, people. I don't know. Okay, the book, it's it's annoying. Anyway, so um that's like the main premise of the plot. I probably won't go too much into that. I'll dive back into the story a couple of times as we go on. But girl, it's crazy. I just we could have done so much with this idea. Like, we could have done so much, girl. What are we doing? I just I actually can't. Like, I'm so mad and disappointed. But yeah, I have so many things that just doesn't make sense for me about this book, to be honest. One thing I did find kind of annoying was that our guest is supposed to be the leader of the Undines, or his like pod of Undines, but it mentions on numerous occasions that his brother is bigger than him and that his brother kind of like pushes him around. So I just don't understand why he's the leader if he's gonna get bullied by his brother. Like, shouldn't that make his brother the leader? But then it also confusingly mentions like a time that he wouldn't just let his brother like push him around without a fight. So then I'm like, so which is it? Like, it makes a point of making out that Argus is like the brains, whereas his brother's like the angry brawn. Like, Argus, like, it. Nobody seems to have actual character or personality in the book. Like, it's just very baseline and very flat in terms of like, characters are just very 2D. Like, they're not really three-dimensional. It feels like it the author tries to make them three-dimensional, but it just kind of flops. I don't know, it just kind of irritates me. Like, why make his brother bigger and badder than him? Like, why would you do that? Like, isn't he the leader? Isn't August supposed to be the leader? I just like, it just doesn't really make any sense. like it kind of annoys me when the main love interest is made out to be this big bad guy and like, oh, he's a scary monster, but in reality you get thrown around. But then at the same time you tell me he doesn't. Like, which one is it? Pick a side, bro. Pick a side. Pick it, like, pick a lane and stay in it. Like, when authors do that and like they make out that someone else is better than the main love interest, it kind of feels like knowing that you picked the ugliest one in the friend group, like finding out later on that you picked the ugliest. Like, oh, he's chopped and his own, like, no. No, absolutely not. Like, it for real does feel like meeting your man's friends for the first time and finding out they're all fitter and richer than he is. What are you talking about? Like, no, I picked the wrong one. That's what it feels like. Why would you do that? It's just irritating. And it just makes August look pathetic in front of his family, I guess. Like, it's not doing it for me, to be honest. Like, it just kind of seems dumb. Um, and like, it's just irritating. Another thing that annoys me is August kind of makes decisions for Mira without Mira's permission or consent. Like, there's a time in the book where he has a vision of the future and he sees Mira's pregnant with his child, which don't piss me off, the fucking pregnancy trope. Don't do it. That is the last thing that I want in a book. The second I hear pregnancy, I'm throwing the book across the room. I don't want to know. Don't do it. Okay? She's not getting pregnant. Kill. It's the fastest way to lose me as a reader. The fastest way. I do not want. Do not cross this line. That's how I feel right now. Do not cross this line. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. Please, somebody tell me they know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't want to hear about no friggin' pregnancy trope in a book. But anyway, my point was it annoys me because he kind of decides that they're gonna have a family together in the future. Not once has he consulted her. Not once has he asked her. Like, my girl is dying underwater at the moment because he's keeping her underwater. She has no access to sunlight, no access to fresh air, no access to food, like no access to anything human. Like, she's stuck and trapped and completely reliant on him. Like, you guys call this romance, I call this abuse and trauma. Like, I don't, why are we putting this as romance? This is not romantic to me. What are we doing? Like, though there are things that are like romantic, and there's fantasies that you can have, and there's taboos you can explore, and there's kinks you can explore, and there's all of that we can explore in a book. But this is just bad. Like, it's just bad. I don't know what else to say. I'm just annoyed. Like, reading this book was honestly a struggle for me. Like, I really had to push through it. I really, really, really did. I read a book, a romantasy book before this that felt very similar to me. Although the one that I read before had a better plot. And I'm talking about a book called Quicksilver. And I know the Booktok girlies love that book, but let me know if you want me to do a video on that book because I have so much to say. But honestly, that book really, really, really pissed me off, and I had to like push myself through it. This is like that, but like 2 times worse. Like, this is definitely worse than that book. But both books, just they just really, I don't know, like, it felt like I was reading for both books, like both Whispers in the Deep or Whispers of the Deep. and Quicksilver, it felt like I was reading somebody's Wattpad self-insert slash like imagination. Like it felt like is if I was to write my maladaptive daydreaming down when I was 10, that's what the book would have sounded like. What are we doing? I'm pissed off because I paid for both of them as well. I have a hardback copy of Quicksilver because of Booktok. This is the last time I trust any of your judgments on what a good book is. I'm sick to death of this drivel. Quicksilver wasn't that bad, but there was definitely moments in there that, oh my, oh my god, the first chapter of Quicksilver, it could have been epic. It was set up to be so good. Like I was so looking forward to this book, like really badly. And after the first chapter, I was like, oh no, this is not. No, no, don't do this to me, please don't do this to me. And I pushed through it and I read till the end, and I was like, I had so much more hope for this book. Like I wanted so much more for it, and I know it had the potential. Like it really did, but I don't know. I can do an episode on Quicksilver if you want me to, but I haven't written any notes on it yet, so I can. If you want me to, we can do that. But if not, I'm not gonna do it because I can't be asked to go back and read it, or write notes on it. But this book, like, I just need a romantasy book where I'm like, this is what I have been craving. This is what I want. This makes me feel good. I need a book like that. I haven't read a romantasy book like that in so long. And I love the genre, but for some reason the writing recently, like I haven't been able to read like an 18 plus romantasy book that I've been like blushing under my covers because of it. I need that, bitch. Like, give it to me. Somebody tell me before I get angry and start breaking things. I'm honestly very irritated. Like, what is it with this stuff? At least in that book, the girl's sterilized and she can't get pregnant. God for that. Yeah, like back to Whispers of the Deep. He makes the decision that they're gonna have a family together in the future without even like consulting her. Oh, and what happens is he gets shown two versions of the future. One where he has to cut off his undying family to be with her, and they can have a future and a child together. And the other is that he doesn't cut off his family, but then like he doesn't know what the future is gonna hold. So he decides, yeah, I'm just gonna cut off my family because I want a future with Mira and I want a child and we're gonna have our child together and that's our future. He doesn't even ask or consult her with this. Like it's just slightly annoying. It just irritates me. But yeah. Like he never asks her what she wants, which is just annoying. Mira doesn't fall hopelessly in love with August at first, which I liked. But it's like later, instead of like gradually turning that into like a slow burn and like things happening and things progressing, which it does a little bit, but I just don't feel like it does it very well. But I do just feel like it gets to a point where Mira just spirals and it's like a drop off point, and then all of a sudden she's hopelessly in love with him, and it's just kind of like, what happened? Like, how did we get here? I'm just not entirely sure. Like, as far as I was concerned, last chapter he still thought you were weird and ugly. So, like, what are we doing? Like, I just don't really get it. Um, Not to mention he threatens to like hurt her multiple times because she's so tiny and weak. And later on in the book, he like something happens. Um, Mira's life, like she gets taken back to the humans, but the humans kind of interrogate her because she's been missing under the sea for ages, and she's been with an undying for ages and ages, and they trap her and they try and get information out of her, and if she didn't spill the information, they're gonna kill her, or they're gonna try and kill her to lure August to them. And then he has to save her life and stuff. And after he saves her life, he just disappears for ages and he doesn't go to see her. And she spirals and she's like, oh my god, am I not enough? Did I do something wrong? Does he not love me anymore? And it's just kind of irritating because, like, girl, why are you spiraling like this? Like, I don't know, spiral about something else. He, like, it's this kind of thing. It's just like he's just a bit of a dick. Like, how am I supposed to? Like, how am I supposed to get into the fantasy if the guy's actually a piece of shit? Like, this is my problem with romance anything. How am I supposed to get into it if he's just a piece of shit? I just, I don't know. And the part that annoys me the most is she's like, was I just bad at having strengths? Like, was I just bad at it? Is that why he hasn't come to see me? Maybe I wasn't what he wanted. Like, she's spiraling that way, like in a very pick me way.